and good day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning and coming to a very short tutorial in this video. This is Miss Farah over here, and in this video, I will be sharing with you guys some feedback for your future improvements, in which I was hoping that you guys will be able to internalize and also trying to improve for your final assessment, that is informative speech. The feedback that I will be sharing with you guys will be based on your performance in the previous presentation, that is persuasive presentation. In this very short tutorial as well, I will be sharing with everyone here today a quick briefing and also some samples and what would I expect you guys for your final submission, that is informative speech. Let's get started. So let's get right into the feedback from your previous presentation, that is the persuasive presentation. As we all know, the persuasive presentation was held in face-to-face mode, and I was actually very happy to be able to see all of you guys performed your speeches. And based on that speech, I would like to highlight a couple things, and also hoping that this will help everybody in the class generally to learn from each other and what can you improve from your previous presentation. First and foremost, I have 3 comments that I would like to highlight in this video here today. First and foremost, I would like to talk about the topic selection. Now, in the beginning of the semester, we talk a lot on audience analysis. And as much as this is a public speaking class, I really do not want to constrain and refrain all of you guys from talking, big things and even some provocative things. And as an instructor, I would be, feeling like I don't want to be such an irony, because this is a speaking class and I want everybody here to be comfortable to be able to speak on any topic that you think is relevant to you, that you think is important for you to speak about. However, in the beginning of the semester, we also talk about audience analysis, and that is something that I really want everybody here to reflect and to think whether or not you were able to include that in your presentation. Some of you guys were very good at adapting this, even if your topic is controversial or even a taboo. But some of you guys were very good at highlighting why is it important for everybody to understand this is a very serious issue that is worth discussing about. And unfortunately, I was only be able to saw your friend's presentation with me only, and it wasn't done in the class. I felt like, oh, I wish this was actually be done in the class so that everybody can see and observe that this is a very important topic for us to talk about. And I really wanted you to see how well your friend did the presentation. To me, audience analysis is very, very important. And some of you guys unfortunately took the liberty of choosing a topic, but you still ignore maybe this will be something uncomfortable to some of your friends. How would you make it more comfortable? How would you lower the language? How would you engage with your audience, thinking that they might be able to accept some of it? That would be your something that I feel like we all can learn from. Overall, I was actually very impressed with all of you guys. Most of you guys have certain topics that I feel was very good and really stress on the importance of the topic, which I felt was very good. And I can see some of you guys were very passionate about the topics that you guys selected, which I think was very good. And I think when you talk about something that you love, it was it was very obvious to us, and passion is everything to me. So well done with your first presentation. I think it was very good. However, I do notice as well, many of you guys are still blur in between, trying to segregate, trying to differentiate between informative speech and also persuasive speech. And this is actually very, very common. So don't feel bad if, you feel like you didn't do your best in that area. I think a lot of students do confuse and get carried away when it comes to informing someone and also trying to persuade someone with something. That is actually quite a common mistake that a lot of students did. But do not feel bad, because we are all learning, and I'm hoping that maybe in future we all can improve on that area. I also would like to talk about delivery as well. What I can feel like we all can improve on is that some of you guys are still lacking of engagement with the audience. I see some of you guys attempted to do this, but a lot of it is just what I can say is short sendiri. What does it mean? It means that when you ask one question, there's no follow-up question. You don't really engage with them. You were asking some general question. Everybody here has breakfast? Yes, no, and that's it. So there's no much further follow up going on over there. So I wish that was the case during your presentation, and I think by engaging with the audience, since the presentation is actually taking a longer time, I think in terms of the time, you have to prepare 6 to 8 minutes, which is actually quite long. I think that by engaging with the audience, that can sort of like take some of the time from you as well. Okay, and talking about time, I think some of you guys were excellent speaker, but you did exceed the time limit, or you do not get the minimum time in which much marks were actually being deducted because of the time. Some of you guys did very well, but unfortunately, maybe in terms of because 5 marks is allocated for time management, so I felt that it was such a bummer that happened. Okay. Okay, so regarding your presentation, regarding your first presentation, ladies and gentlemen, the marks have been released, so you guys can actually see the marks already. If you guys would like to have some queries or some questions that you want to ask me, you guys can ask me via WhatsApp, or we can have a consultation. Online consultation is also fine with me, so we can have like a very short conversation online, and we can talk about what are the things that you can improve on. And if you would like to have more detailed comments or feedback on your performance from the persuasive presentation, I'm more than happy to do that for you guys. Okay, your outline is actually done. I am trying to release the mark as soon as possible, but I still have problems with my IMS. But in our lesson for today, in this tutorial, I also will be sharing with you guys, recapping again some of the things in hope that you guys can do better in the outline for your informative speech. And we're going to do that later in the video. Okay, so stay tuned to that. I would like to also highlight on some of the things that I saw from your presentation, in which I really do enjoy. I really want to give you guys some credits for it. Number one, most of you guys have really good English, and I actually I've taught English in UMP for I think less than a year, and it's just general English classes. But I think most of you guys in my public speaking class are really good in English. I was very happy to listen and engage and talk to you guys in English. As a teacher, I felt like I can do more, and I was able to enjoy myself speaking in English with you guys, and doing much more games, more interactive activities, knowing that you guys have very good English. And that actually was quite obvious in your presentation. So I just wanted to say you guys have very good English, so well done with that. I also think that many of you guys are very comfortable with your classmates, and that was actually quite evident in your first presentation, which is amazing. When you are comfortable with your audience, I think that your anxiety will be lowered, your filters will be lowered, and you will more likely to perform better. So I was very happy to see many of you guys are very comfortable with your classmates. I also would like to give you guys some credits for your excellent preparation. Many of you guys come in, most of you guys actually prepared well for your presentation. I can see that by looking at your outline. It's very detailed. There's a lot of research going on, which is amazing. So I want to say very good with that. Excellent job, guys. Also, not to forget, most of you guys prepared PowerPoint slides, and it's excellent. It was very, very good. The selection of the graphics and images that you put in your presentation, PowerPoint presentation, was tallying to what you're saying, which is also great. So good job with the PowerPoint slides, guys. There are also some things that I feel like we all in general can improve on, especially on the clothing and attire. Most of you guys come into the class looking really great with your, excellent t-shirt, and also, with your tie and extra, etc. But when I look at your shoes, it's sport shoes, so it's not really formal. Okay, so something that we all can think about and improve on. And I think when I look at the girls as well, many of you guys were very excellent with your makeup and very nice formal clothing. But again, with the shoes, I think shoes is something that we all very often forget about. All right, so just now I also mentioned about techniques to engage with the audience. I think we all can improve more on that. And finally, I think many of you guys are too heavily dependent on the script, on the note, and it looks like you don't prepare, but when I look at your outline, you actually have prepared a lot. So the best way to overcome this is actually to memorize some parts of the speech to look like you know everything, and to look like you're more confident and more likely to look more prepared. So here are the things that I hope that you guys can improve on in your next presentation. Okay, now we want to talk about your final assignment, that is informative speech. For your final assignment, there are two things as well for you to complete. Number one is the outline. Now, in your WhatsApp group, I have provided you guys with a Word document of the outline, so you can immediately edit and write the outline. This outline is 10% of your marks for this course. You also need to prepare a recorded informative speech. Your speech should be between 6 to 8 minutes, and the speech is 20% of your whole grade. Now, these two tasks is due at the end of week 14, which is next week, or this week, if you can say it, 25th of June, before midnight. So you need to submit these two things in a form that I will be showing you guys in a bit. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about informative speech outline. I have prepared you guys a very, very nice sample here so that you guys can actually be more prepared. So as I mentioned, I have shared with you guys this Word document for you guys to work on, and you need to make sure that you edit the Word document, save the Word document in PDF form, and then upload to me in PDF, not in Word document. Okay, so please make sure that you submit your document in PDF form. So let me just illustrate this for once and for all to you guys. I do not know why I have to show this to you guys, but just to be safe, I'm going to show you guys how you can save it in PDF. So ladies and gentlemen, basically what you have to do is go to File, Save As, and then normally I would just save it in my desktop, change it to PDF. Okay, so most importantly, guys, is for you to rename your document. So here we have UHE 3132 informative speech outline underscore your name. So my name is Warner Farah. Okay, and then export it to PDF. Okay, so when you submit to me as the final submission, it will be in PDF format. Okay, so let's talk one by one how and what to do in each one of this outline. So let's start with the title. Some of you guys forgot to put the title in your previous outline in your persuasive speech, so please do not forget to put the title here. So this is an example, the benefits of eating breakfast. That could be the title for your informative speech later. Okay, so for for specific purposes, ladies and gentlemen, there are two types. Literally, there are only two types. It's either you want to inform, that is the informative speech, or you want to persuade. Okay, so I believe the final assessment is to inform your audience. Please do not forget the word your audience. Okay, so to inform my audience on what? Link it back to your title, the benefits of eating breakfast. So if you do this, you can get 1 mark. Okay, so next one is the central idea. Ladies and gentlemen, the central idea has to be only one single sentence, and what it does is that it summarizes all of the points that you are going to talk about. So you need to make sure that you're able to summarize point 1, point 2, and also point 3 over here. So this is a sample, okay, to educate or to inform my audience that breakfast is important because point 1, it is the first meal of the day. Point 2, it provides sufficient energy for the day. And point 3, it boosts one mode. Okay, so central idea has to be written in one single sentence, and it has to summarize all 3 points that you have in your speech. Okay, all right, so the next one is the organizational pattern. So in order for you guys to know more about this, you have to go to your kalam. In the kalam, there is one single PowerPoint slides that talk about organizational pattern in informative speech. There are 5 types of it. We have chronological order, spatial order, causal order, topical order, and problem solving order. Which one is it that you guys are using? Okay, and then choose one of these pattern, and then you put over here. Okay, so the next one, in the introduction, you need to provide an intention getter. Now, in your first presentation outline, I was actually being quite lenient on this matter. Even though I mentioned this in the class, there are seven attention getters in the introduction. You can start by relating the topic to the audience and deliver from a minimum notes, or you can state the importance of your topic. You can startle the audience a little bit. You can arouse the curiosity of your audience. You can question the audience with some rhetorical questions. You can also begin with a quotation, or finally a lot of TED Talk speakers' favorite, that is to tell a story. So choose one of these 7 attention getter techniques and put it in your outline. The outline should be written like it is your script. Okay, so here I'm using the technique tell a story. So how would I say it during the presentation? Your actual script, okay, has to be written over here. It has to be your script. You cannot say, I will use tell a story for my attention getter. No, it has to be what the script, how you're going to say it in your presentation. So for my attention getter, I'm using the technique tell a story. So I say, when I was little, my mom used to force me to wake up as early as 6 a.m. to eat a nice and hearty breakfast before going to school. I used to hate waking up early, especially during weekend, and I would pretend to sleep, and my mom would come to my room and smack me with a long rotan. Okay, so this is my story. So I'm opening my speech with a story. Next, you have to tie your topic to your audience. Now, this is how I do it. This might sound like a typical day to all of us, mostly Asians, yes. This is why I took the opportunity to engage with my audience. So I'm going to ask them in the audience if they have similar experience than me. What about you, sir? How would your mom wake you up in the morning? Why would your mom? What time would your mom wake you up in the morning? So those are kind of questions that I will be using and asking my audience. So that one is this. Next is credibility statement. For credibility statement, you can have a few ways of doing it. Number 1, Credibility statement is basically, who are you to talk about this? So it's either you have first-hand experience with this, or you probably have done quite a number of research to talk about this. Let's say, for example, I have a PhD in this, so I have read quite a number of literature and research to talk about this, and I'm very happy to share it with you guys here today. So this is how I would do my credibility statement. As someone who has first-hand experience, I used to dread the feeling of waking up to eat breakfast. Now that I'm older, I finally realized that breakfast had many benefits. So I researched more on this and would like to share with everyone here on my findings. So this is how you gain your audience trust, your credibility, who you are to talk about this topic. So that is this. Finally, preview of speech. Guys, preview of speech is literally like the central idea. It's the same thing. You need to summarize what you're going to talk about. So you can say, in my speech today, I will be talking about why breakfast is crucial for us, because it is the first meal of the day, it provides sufficient energy, and it boosts one mood. So your preview of speech have to summarize all 3 points that you have in your speech, and it has to be written in one complete sentence as well. Okay. Next, you have the transition of the body. So how would you start your speech? Start with your first point. So you can say, in my speech today, I will share the benefits of eating breakfast, starting with the most obvious reason why we all need to eat breakfast. So the first reason why we need to eat breakfast is because breakfast is the first meal of the day. The main point is actually very straightforward. And okay, so when you want to know what your points are, you need to look at your preview of speech. Your first point is the first thing, okay, the first main idea that you put in your preview of speech here today. This is your first main body, second main body, and this is the third main body. So this one should be reflected on this. This one, providing sufficient energy, should be the second point over here. Okay, all right, and finally the third point here, boost one mode, should be the final point over here. So basically you're just copy pasting the same thing here and there. Okay, so next let's talk about how can you write supporting details. There are 3 ways for you to write supporting details. First is by giving example. Okay, you can give example, you can give testimony. Number 2, you can give elaboration on this point. And finally, give evidence based on your research, what you learn or what you researched on. For informative speech, having research or reading a lot is very, very important. That is how you know that you're the right person to talk about this. That is how your audience would feel like, oh, this person has done quite a number of research and readings. So this is a very, very excellent speech. Evidences or giving or citing the sources that you have is extremely important in informative speech. Okay, so let's say, for example, for the first supporting detail, I want to give evidence here. So I put here, according to an expert from Brazil, blah, 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 blah. Or a study in the United States of America published in 2023 mentions that eating breakfast, okay, so this is how you do evidence. When you want to talk about evidence, you need to talk about where this research is from, when was it published, which year, and what is the research about. Okay, summary of the research should also be included in the supporting detail. Okay, so if you want to put some examples, so you can say this is exemplified by, this is evidence by, for example, for evidence. Okay, and also for elaboration, you can say like this is because blah blah blah. Okay. Excuse me. So all of these should be in your point 2 and also point 3 as well. The next one is the transition. Okay, transition is basically how you link your current point to the next point. This brings me to my next point, that is blah 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 blah. Okay. Alright, so I will not be repeating main point 2 and also main point 3 because it's literally the same thing as here. Finally, we're going to the conclusion. So for the summary, first and foremost, okay, let's start with the summary of the main point. To do this is actually the same like preview of speech, guys. Literally the same. It has to be one single sentence and you have to summarize all of the points. This is a sample. In conclusion, in my speech today, I have shared with everyone here 3 benefits of breakfast, which are: breakfast is the first meal of the day, it provides sufficient energy for the day, and finally, it boosts our mood. So, your summary of main points should include all of the points that you have mentioned, and it has to be written in one single sentence only. Finally, okay, you then need to make a memorable final statement or call for an action. Here are some of the ways for you to do it. You can summarize your speech. You can end with a quotation, make a dramatic statement, or my personal favorite, you refer back to the introduction. So in the introduction just now, I talk or I tell a story. So I want to end my speech also with a story. So I refer back to the story in the introduction, I link it as my conclusion. So I say, as I grow older, I begin to understand the role of breakfast in our daily life. I used to dread the idea of having breakfast, and now I'm imposing the same technique as my mom with my kids. I will go to their rooms and make sure everyone is awake for a family breakfast. Most importantly, I will make it fun. And we try to find a new breakfast place and rate the food together with my mom. Who knows? Breakfast could be this fun. Okay, so for the conclusion here, it also has to be a technique. So these are the ways that you can do it for this. Okay, so that is all for the outline of your speech. Okay, let's now talk about the recording. So guys, you have to prepare a 6 to 8 minutes of informative speech. You need to record your speech wearing a formal clothing and upload the speech in your YouTube channel. Then you have to share with me the link to your YouTube, okay? And then submit in this link over here. So if you look at the link here, okay, you will see that, sorry. All right, so you will see that you need to insert your full name, your student ID, then your PDF of your speech outline over here, and only the YouTube link. Okay, so you have to upload your YouTube. You only have to share with me the link to the YouTube video. Okay, not the actual video itself. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at some samples. But before that, when you record your video, you need to make sure that half part of your body is visible in the video because it will allow us to see your body movement and hand gesture. So the way you place your camera is also extremely important. Let's take a look at some samples over here. So this is one sample that I have from my students from my previous university. You can see that the student here is, the way the camera was positioned is that I was able to see her half part of her body. I can see the clothing, her clothes. Okay, I can see what she's wearing, and I can also see her hand gesture and also body movement. And what I really like about this presentation is that she uses her smart TV over here to project to us the slides, the visual aid that she's using. So this is very, very good. So you guys can take a look at the sample yourself over here. Alright, so this is another sample. So here, Chan Wei Yang over here, instead of using TV as the projector. He actually edited on top here, so that is also another way of doing it as well for you to include your visual aid. So Honbin over here talks about being vegan, and you guys can actually see that he is standing in he's standing in front of a plain wall. That really helps us to really focus on his speech, and later you will see that he put his visual aid over
The
here.
rainforest gives us air to breathe. In every color-absorbing leaf. Don't cut it money for me. How much you ask just... My name is John Bin. I will just read you a poem entitled The Planet Lungs by Rhonda Mazar.
Okay, so obviously he's opening his speech with a poem here. So another important thing is, okay, so whether or not you should put your subtitles down here. Now it's very optional. If you think that your sound quality is not so good, I highly advise you guys to put a subtitle, because if you do not give us, if we don't understand you, you will not get marks. Okay, so you will not get marks for content or language if we cannot hear you properly. So having a subtitle will actually help you to get the marks if the audio quality is bad. But if your audio quality is quite good, you don't really need the subtitles.
So I'm a student from Diploma in Mass Comm, and this was my first semester.
So like Wei Yang over here, I was able to clearly hear his speech. So really he doesn't really need to put the subtitles down there. Okay, so I think that is all about it for your final presentation. I really hope that this video helps you guys to prepare and understand better on how you should do your final assignment. I would like to take this opportunity to wish everybody here all the best for your final submission, all the best for your final exam, and also I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody here to be such wonderful kids in my class. I really do enjoy our public speaking class, and I really hope that I know that you guys will be excellent people out there. And if you guys happen to see me around campus, just don't forget to say hi and don't be a stranger. Okay, should you guys have any questions and you would like someone to talk to or anything, I'm more than happy to be your listening ear. If you want to talk about academics or even non-academics, that is also fine with me. You know how to reach me. Okay, thank you very much, guys. All the best, and I'll see you guys around campus. Take care. Toodaloo. Bye bye.